Hey guys, I'm Aaron with Aleeknives. Welcome to my office. This is a slightly different video than normal. Normally I'm in my shop, but I can't work in my shop right now. So I'm in my office, and what I'm gonna do is I've set up a table over here, and I'm gonna do a product demo for you today. We're playing around with the LaserMaster 3 by Ortur. This is a really neat machine. I've already played with it, so I can tell you right now, it's really cool. I'm a novice at using laser engravers. That's probably why this is a good video for you to watch. Because if I could take this machine and unbox it and put it together and have it engraving awesome art within 30 minutes, that means you can too. One of the things that I noticed when I was watching everybody else's videos, I like to do a little research so that my video can stand out from everybody else's. One thing that I noticed was nobody was showing how to put the machine together. I know it may be simple, and everybody says it's incredibly simple, but I will say when I put it together, I felt like there were some gaps in the user's guide that might need a little more explaining. So that's why I took the time to put the machine together, and that's mainly what my video is about. There's a lot of videos out there that go more in depth about the details of the machine and, you know, the specifics of the machine and what it can and can't do and the speed and feed rates and things like that of the laser. I could tell you a couple things about it. It's got a 10-watt laser head, which is more than powerful enough to do all of the things that I want to do with it, and it moves extremely quickly. You saw it on the video. This thing just is laser fast. All right, so let's get started. The Ortur LaserMaster 3. Just in case you were wondering, that's the CRKT. Really neat knife right there. Inexpensive too. Perfect for opening boxes. Let's see what they give you. Oh wow, very nice packaging. Books right on top. Oh, look at that. They even give you a nice little kit to house the screws and installation hardware. That is a nice touch right there. You don't see stuff like that very often. And then you're going to have the main portions of your engraver. Nice braided cables. Oh, I can tell you right now, this is going to be a really high-end product. Let's go ahead and see what else we can do here for you. Gonna pull this piece out. Ooh. Stop button, power, on off with a key nonetheless. That's neat, so your kids can't accidentally come and turn on your laser engraver and blind themselves. And then the second row. It's looking really nice. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this stuff out real quick. So what comes in the box, you might ask? Let's show you. You're going to get the frame pieces. These are all the pieces that assemble to make the frame of the machine. Of course, you're going to get the laser head right here with the protective shroud, user's manual, the support kit with your screws, wrenches, and things like that. You get the associated cables that you're going to need to make your machine run, including a power supply, a little Wi-Fi antenna. You've got an air assist module right here so that you can easily blow the debris away so you get a nice clear engraving. You have the drive cable, a couple more associated cables for laptop connection and a power cable, your safety glasses, which are absolutely crucial whenever you're using a laser engraver, and you have the support package here that gives you a couple different mediums to begin to engrave on. Oh, there's also a couple cable ties in there. So let's take this pile of parts and make it a laser engraving machine. I've only ever played with one other laser engraver, so I think it's a good idea to pull out the user's guide. You know, you start on page 1 and work your way through, and by the end, you'll have a laser engraver. Let's put this thing together. Alright, so I don't plan to bore you too much with all this, but it does say to start with the rear assembly and the side rail, and then you're going to take this long cable and you're going to feed it through, just like so, from the front to the back. Once you get this fed all the way through, like that, you will attach this rail here, flip it over and insert one of the 8mm screws, which I have right here. They provide you an 8mm screw and an Allen wrench. So you will install that. Now, I don't generally like to tighten these screws until I've got the whole machine put together, and then I'll go around and I'll tighten the screws just to make sure that we don't have any alignment issues or anything like that. Let's go ahead and put this one in. There we go. Now, without looking at the directions, I'm pretty sure it's going to tell me to jump to the front. Let's see. So there's 1 and there's 2. And then, oh, see, I'm glad that I paid attention. Before you jump to the front piece, it's now telling me to slide the laser engraving boom onto these rails. Okay, now on installation of the laser boom, it does say to pay attention to make sure that this cradle right here is on the front of this boom when you install it. Oh. And apparently I'm an idiot because this needs to be flipped completely around. So let's go ahead and take that off and install it correctly. Even with directions, I need help apparently. All right, so let's flip this around. There we go. Apparently I'm not perfect, and please don't tell my wife. Alright, there we go. Let's get that flipped around now. And now we can proceed with installing this. And there it is. Perfect. Get that slid on. Okay, next we move to the front assembly. In the front assembly, we'll have a connection point right here for this cable here. All right, now I'm gonna flip the whole machine over again so that I can screw these screws in. Let's go ahead and take and install our plug first. Right there. Beautiful. Okay. There we go. There is a small relief for the cable that I noticed is here. That's a very nice touch. Rather than just pinching the cable, they really thought things out with this machine. Okay. Now once we get this installed here, I feel comfortable going ahead and tightening down all of these bolts. Here we go. Still not going crazy on tightening them. Okay, now we can leave this. There we go. Now, what is next? I've got the rear, the sides, and the front installed, and they're plugged together. We'll need the synchronized belt, which is the drive belt, the idle assembly ×2, and M4 set screws. Let's go ahead and find those parts. I thought this was something that I wanted to show you. This is the idler wheel assembly. Now the idle wheel is on a solid shaft of the screw here, and then there's a threaded portion, but there's a collar right here, and then there's a little washer. This washer pushes up against the collar. Okay, so when you install this into the machine, the washer goes towards the wheel and the nut goes on the outside. The nut is actually captured by the machine and holds it in place, and then you screw this down. This allows the idler wheel a little bit of left and right motion play, and if you think that this washer needs to be on the nut side, you're wrong. Because what would happen is you would tighten this down and it would tighten up against the wheel, and then the wheel would not be able to move. So the washer goes up against the solid shelf right there on the shaft, which allows the wheel to move a little bit. And then you install the nut on the other side of the machine. I'll show you how that goes. So you just put the nut on this side of the bracket right here, like so. Then you put this through and you thread it into the nut. The machine actually holds the nut from spinning, which is pretty cool. Now, also, the machine where it holds the nut is a slot. The slot goes forward and backwards. That allows you to adjust the tension of the belt. So you've got these two belts right here. These are the drive belts, and they've got teeth on them. There's a gear inside here, and there's a gear inside here. This belt runs back here and attaches to the gear, and then it goes around this idler wheel. So when you attach to the gear and put it around the idler wheel, you're going to want to loosen the idle wheel and pull it back to adjust the tension of this drive belt. Now, the directions show this coming off so that you can access it, but I think that you might be able to just pinch the belt like this, slide it in around the end of the drive gear, and get it on there. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, looks like we did with no problem at all. It's on the drive gear there. And we are attached to our idler wheel, and it is really loose. So what we're gonna do is we are going to tighten this up. So we're gonna loosen this, we're gonna pull it back until it's not real tight, but tight enough, right like that. See how that's tight? And then it slides into a groove right here, and this drive belt is going to control this boom right here. So that's pretty cool. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to take this, I'm going to pinch it, I'm going to stick it in there and catch that drive wheel in the back, hook it onto my idler, and adjust the tension. Just like that. That was actually really simple to do. No problem at all. I'm gonna slide this right into there so it holds on. We're gonna loosen this, pull it back till it's nice and tight, and tighten it down. Good, good. We're done with the drivetrain. It's done on both sides. Now you do have to make sure that on this laser boom, there's a little pinch on the side where this belt slides into and it grips it. One last thing after you install the drive belts is to install the set screws in the tensioning system. So the set screws just go in, the end caps here. You're gonna run these in, and what this is gonna do is it's actually gonna help you to equally adjust the tension between the left and right sides. Pretty cool. There are markings on the sides. You want these to be adjusted about the same. Similar to, say, the chain on a motorcycle is how this works on the rear axle of a motorcycle. It's pretty neat. So for the next order of operations, we install the Wi-Fi antenna. Screw that bad boy on like so and flip it up. Then it wants us to install two screws. If I had to guess what these screws are for right now without looking farther into the instructions, I would say that they are limits on how far the carriage can go forward. That would be a guess. I don't know what these are for yet, but it says to install these two screws. So we're going to go ahead and screw these guys in here. Pretty easily done. I'm not going to tighten them down, I'm just going to screw them in. Okay. Then let's see what else it says. Moving on. Okay guys, so the next order of business is the main harness wire. So let's go ahead and flip this over. First we're gonna fold that out of the way. I probably would have done this a little differently if I would have known that I had to do this. I wouldn't have installed this yet. In fact, let's go ahead and just take this off of there. That's not quite ready for installation. So we're gonna install this harness here. The main plug goes in down here. It's gonna plug in just like this. Ta-da. And then it comes up here and attaches to the back side of this guy. So we have several different, we have the stepper motor, and then we've got a cable that comes out and goes to the laser. So one is labeled X, which is the X axis. That's definitely going to be our connection here. Now let's flip this back over. I believe this cable you have to let run free. Yes, that's correct. So I want to zoom in on something here to show you. Right here, this is a cable tie base right here on the end of the X axis, and this cable will get cable tied right to that. And what that does is when this moves back and forth, it holds this cable nice and tight. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and run a couple of cable ties here. So we've got this cable here that comes up. I actually think I might run a little bit more sturdy cable tie through here than the one that they provide, because this is going to have to support this cable as it moves back and forth. Now this cable just lays free on the table, that way it allows the movement back and forth. So we went ahead and plugged in the X, which was for the X axis, and then this is for the laser head right here. So this plugs into the L for laser right here, and it gives you two spots on the back that have holes in this X axis for a couple of cable ties to hold this cable for the laser module. So we're just going to install a couple more cable ties back here. One, two, there we go. Now we can go ahead and put our laser module back on, just like so. And then this guy right here just goes, now this is a keyed plug right here. There's a keyway right here. So what you're going to want to do is align this so that the keyway's in there. Be real careful not to bend the pins. There you go. That's installed. And it's stress relieved. And I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rotate this. I didn't want the cable to bind one way to another. There we go. I'm thinking that that's good. Perfect. Cable doesn't bind in either direction. And the drive cable also is perfect. Excellent. Now go ahead and clip off these cable ties. We'll move on to the next step. Alright, I've gone ahead and positioned this machine on top of a cutting mat. No, this cutting mat won't stop it from getting through to the table completely, but it'll do a pretty good job. One of the neatest features about this machine is they've added this little flip down lever here. You just flip this bad boy down, you loosen your thumb screw so that your module comes free. You flip that down and it allows you to space the module with this lever that's attached to the laser head rather than having a separate tool to get your height. So there you go, there's your height. Boom, put that back, and then it's set. Let's go ahead and jump into laser GRBL and send an image to this bad boy. Okay guys, I want to show you just how easy this is. I've downloaded laser GRBL, so I'm going to go ahead and open that bad boy up. I've got my machine on, so it recognizes the COM port already, so I'm going to open up the GRBL, click connect, then I'm going to go to file, and I'm going to open a file on my computer. I've got some vectorized images already set up, so let's go ahead and pull this one up here. Okay, let's see, we're going to click vectorize because we want it to vectorize it. That means it's going to outline the image. Next. Now here on this menu, this has given me some problems in the past. What you do is on this very first line right here, you click over here, and it's going to bring up a list of materials. You can click here and pick different materials. If you want to cut through wood or do paperboard, when I'm practicing, I like to do the craft paper. That way I don't cut through my material into my cutting mat. So we're going to do craft paper and engrave, and it's going to pick how fast this laser should move for each pass. So I'm going to click apply, click create. Now it comes up. I'm going to click this button right here, and that's going to move my laser to home. Now when I want to go ahead and send this, I'm going to go to file, and I'm going to click send to machine. Now I'm going to move it so you can watch this over here. Okay. Now I've got this all hooked up, I'm going to click send to machine. This is real time, by the way. This thing flies. If you want to talk about fast, this image right here is 45 by 50. I think total elapsed time there probably going to be about 30 seconds. Yep, there it is. Very cool. Nice detail, crisp lines, and very quick. Overall, I think this is a great value machine. The bed seems very sturdy. You get the 10-watt laser head. It's incredibly easy to put together. It's very versatile with the programs that you can use on it. In fact, I'm using laser GRBL, but I know you can use Lightburn and their proprietary software that they provide. I didn't have time to jump into their software. I'm familiar with GRBL, so that's what I used on this for this demo process. And I really like the machine. I mean, that's all there is to it. I had no hiccups. Me being a novice in laser engraving, I was able to put this together. Within 30 minutes, I was making art with it. That's pretty cool. That means that anybody out there can do exactly what I did. They can jump on, and basically within 30 minutes of opening the box, you can be engraving a picture on some medium of your choice. So anyhow, stay tuned for the follow-up videos where I get to go through and start playing with all the different mediums that I'm going to try it on. We're going to try stainless steel, we're going to try some acrylics, and we're going to do some JPEG pictures. Probably the thing that I'm most excited about, you guys all know that I'm into knife making, and I make a lot of leather sheaths. Most of my sheaths for my hunting knives are the same style, so I can come up with a template, and I hope that this laser engraver can cut out my leather templates. That would be really cool. If it'll cut out the front and the back and the belt loop out of a piece of leather rather than me cutting with a knife, that could make my life a lot easier. So I'm really excited to try that. Stay tuned for the next video.